I'm David and Edith Johnson. We're out here today showing our support for the Second Amendment so history doesn't repeat itself in the past. We've had Chairman Mao that killed 40 million of his people after disarming them. We had Hitler that killed 7 million Jews after saying the Jews couldn't own guns. We had Fidel Castro did the same thing to 136,000 of his people, and it went on from there. History repeats itself, and that's been proven in the past. And our founding fathers never wanted that to happen. We're standing here for our right to bear arms that is part of the Second Amendment, and this is not something that should ever be changed. This is not something that has any right to be changed by anyone in our government. When they take a vow of office, they take a vow of office to uphold and protect the Constitution of the United States, and at the point when they try to destroy our Constitution and change it as drastically as they're talking about doing, they're committing treason. They're holding the state of office that is not right for what they're doing. And we're out here showing our support for the Second Amendment to ensure that this never happens again.
Rallies for gun rights or tougher gun penalties have spread across the country, including here in Colorado. After deadly school shootings, many are pushing for tougher gun laws. But today in Denver, supporters of the Second Amendment were speaking out. CBS 4's Michael Abeyta is live tonight with more on the gun rights rally.
Yeah, well, it's empty here now, but the hundreds of men and women who showed up here earlier today said they were defending their liberty. Saturday they came.
We are the majority.
To the governor's mansion in Denver with a message.
It's just to show that there are people who are in favor of the Second Amendment.
That's the Second Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
The rights shall not be infringed to possess a weapon. That doesn't mean background checks. That doesn't mean registering of thing. Shall not be infringed.
Saturday's rally was part of a nationwide response to other recent rallies calling for more gun control. Even though the attendees at this rally say they want to protect their right to own guns, they also say they didn't come to promote violence.
It's about protecting our rights. It's not about endorsing school shootings. We're not here to support school shootings or violence. We're not promoting violence at all. We're here to support that we have the right as citizens.
They also want to spread awareness and knowledge about guns and gun safety because they feel bad information is being spread by people who are not knowledgeable about the subject.
Idiotic statements from congressmen, senators, local media that just don't know about weapons, how they operate, how they function.
Now, they're not the only group with an event planned this weekend. The Sloan's Lake Citizens Group has a vigil for victims of gun violence in their neighborhood planned for Sunday. In Denver, Michael Abeyta, covering Colorado First.
Amendment supporters gathering at the state capitol today to rally for their rights. The Connecticut Citizens Defense League hosted that rally. Those who were there standing up to what they call anti-gun propaganda in our country, especially in the wake of the Parkland, Florida school shooting.
They got their side and they're not coming over to our side. But if they're in trouble, they're the first one to ask me to help them because I carry a gun. It's my right.
Every time there is a horrific murder, opportunistic politicians run to the microphones and cameras. Two of the very big ones come right from here in our own state. And through the commentary that they provide, their solutions only seem to include proposals that would curtail your rights as free citizens.
In addition to the pro-gun rally today in Hartford, others were held in cities across the country.
People came to the state capitol on a sunny Saturday, many carrying their guns.
I'm here to protect our Second Amendment right.
The rally was put on by Connecticut Citizens Defense League, a grassroots legislative action group focused on Second Amendment rights.
I'm here to support the Second Amendment. It's under attack.
Given the recent shootings in our country, people here say they don't want the laws to change to restrict gun owners.
We've already seen compromise, and yet these things continue to happen. I think we'd look to be repealing some laws, to be quite honest with you. I think there are some laws that are existing that are infringements on law-abiding gun owners.
And that's what the people here today say they are, law-abiding gun owners. There was no shortage of American flags, big and small, being waved after the Star-Spangled Banner and Pledge of Allegiance. Different speakers came up to the podium.
We have a duty to protect the Second Amendment, not just for ourselves, but for our children.
This rally comes just weeks after the March for Our Lives rally, where prominent Connecticut politicians also met here at the state capitol to voice their concerns on gun control.
Their solutions only seem to include proposals that would curtail your rights as free citizens.
Young people were at the rally too, including 19-year-old Max Padro.
We're scared that our rights as Americans are going to be taken away at such a young age, and we want our kids and their kids to be able to have the same rights that we had.
As for the teenagers he sees speaking out after the recent shootings at Parkland, Florida,
I think they are out of touch, you know. I think they might not be educated on what we know about firearms and the Second Amendment.
And the older generation was happy to see young people standing by their side.
We need them. They are the next generation. I'm a senior citizen. I felt that it was time that I needed to protect myself.
In Hartford, Esther Catro, Fox 61 News.
There are good law-abiding citizens out there who would lay down their life for those children, for those teachers, for the coaches. I would. I signed on the dotted line. I signed a blank check to the American people.
God bless you.
Payable unto and including my life. And I would do it. And I would do it again and again and again. I'd like to read off the names of Columbine. 4/20/1999.
Parkland, Florida. 2/14/18. Alyssa A. Scott B. Martin A. Every name you heard was a human being with a life just like yours. Was slain by evil. All gun laws do is regulate how gunmen can fight evil. We, the responsible and armed, must always be at the ready to defend the defenseless. That is our job as Americans, to defend each other.
Being a victim of gun violence has nothing to do with my stance on the Second Amendment or the rights of the free people of the United States of America. Yeah. It is a fundamental right. It is a fundamental right. And I will not let the names that I just read go unheard.
More than 100 people gathered at the Capitol for a pro-gun Second Amendment rally. The local chapter of the National Constitutional Coalition of Patriotic Americans said this is a response to the student-led gun violence protests known as the March for Our Lives. I spoke to people who support the rally and some who say the rally went too far.
Through the perilous fight. We're here standing up for the Second Amendment, and that's all that matters.
Protecting the Second Amendment and teaching the public about guns.
Stop persecuting, start understanding.
Thomas Leaguer with the National Constitutional Coalition of Patriotic Americans, Wisconsin, said that was the goal behind Saturday's gun rights Second Amendment rally.
We're not scary people. We just want our rights, and we're law-abiding citizens.
Dozens, including Leaguer, openly carried a firearm, which is legal on the Wisconsin State Capitol grounds. Leaguer said his firearm is symbolic of his rights.
Our right to carry and our right to own and openly carry our weapons, and just practice our right to bear arms.
Backing up the Constitution and their rights is why Roy Aaron from Sun Prairie came to the rally.
Once you start changing the Constitution, then the ability to change other parts of the Constitution occur, and the next thing you don't have any rights at all.
What usually is a relaxing environment for a casual stroll made some people feel uneasy.
It makes me feel unsafe. I honestly don't feel safe in this kind of environment. I don't get it.
The fact that they walking around with guns out.
While rally organizers believed this was the right way to showcase their gun rights, others said there are more engaging and effective ways to educate others.
They could have, displayed,
information, large posters in regards to the Second Amendment, in regards to the laws, pass out flyers in regard, give information out. That way people will know.
I spoke with Madison police who said the rally was peaceful, and the organizer of today's rally said he plans on holding similar events in the summer.
Well, Lori, that's the senator who heads up the committee on gun-related topics, and he told us he expects at least 2 brand new gun-related bills to be on the books potentially by the end of this month. He says Democrats being in control is part of the reason, but he says it's what the people want. Well, not the people who were out here this morning.
Shame, shame, shame on Senator Saldana. Shame on her.
There have been bigger pro-gun rallies at the state capitol.
It's repulsive, literally repulsive.
But this year's crowd seems more worrisome.
Last year, our Senate was able to kill a lot of bad bills in committee. This year, we're not so lucky.
Because the Democratic Party's running our state now.
Shayna Vayet.
Print your name as well and make sure all this is printed out.
She's helping fellow gun owners find their lawmakers to tell them hands off their guns and stop trying to pass new laws that threaten their Second Amendment right to bear arms.
They're not considering the people in the state. And so Seattle's making rules, and our governor is right in line with all those rules that Seattle's making.
This is the bump stock?
Governor Jay Inslee backs a bill that would make so-called bump stocks and other trigger modifications illegal. That bill has a hearing Monday, along with 4 others, including moves to limit high-capacity magazines and requiring gun owners to lock up weapons around children and the mentally ill.
If you fail to use a gun safe or a trigger lock or whatever that might keep the gun out of the wrong hands, then you're responsible for the damage that gets done with that.
Democratic Senator Jamie Peterson says a proposal to ban assault weapon sales will not be debated this year, and there are no plans on taking anyone's weapons. But he says voters have recently passed gun-related initiatives, and the new proposals have bipartisan support.
So the question here is, how do we balance that very real constitutional right with a public safety crisis that we have with gun violence?
What do you say to somebody that's coming in to break your house? Please stop right there while I go unlock my gun? That's ridiculous.
Shayna Vayet plans on coming back to Olympia Monday to testify against the bills.
These tyrants cannot succeed.
She says gun owners need to prepare for a fight to protect their rights.
We have freedoms, we have a constitution. It's there for a reason. Our forefathers put that in place for a reason.
The Senate's going to be hosting public testimony on those 5 potential new gun laws here on Monday morning. They are expecting big crowds to testify on both sides of the debate. Live in Olympia, Drew Mickelson, King 5 News.
Today, more than 100 gun owners, many open carrying their firearms, rallied for Second Amendment rights at the Utah State Capitol. A group called Students for Liberty organized today's rally on the Capitol steps. Attendees listened to speakers emphasize the importance of gun freedoms. One man at today's event told us that Americans need to be more educated about the types and uses of firearms.
To most people, what I'm wearing on my back, right here, that's an assault weapon, right? It's big, black, and scary. This is a bolt-action rifle. It's 30 caliber, okay? It's one of the most common hunting rounds there is. But because the rifle looks a specific way, it generates fear. Why is that? Because the accessories on it, it doesn't change anything. I'm a long-range shooter. I love shooting at long range. It's one of my favorite things to do. But as soon as you start banning weapons, it doesn't work.
Students for Liberty also held rallies today in Orem and Cedar City.
On the streets of Nashville, a response to those gun control marches seen across the country last month, including right here at home. But this time, those taking a stand were people worried about the future of the Second Amendment. New at 10, News Channel 5's Jason Lamb has more on their message.
For the dozens gathered across the Capitol today, the rain that loomed overhead was nothing more than a matter of perspective.
Oh, wow. It's better than what I thought it was going to be. I thought we were going to be in a windstorm, too.
Sally Hook and others showed up, she said, using her First Amendment rights to protect her Second.
We've been under attack, and we feel that that is our right, our constitutional right.
You have the right to keep and bear arms
and that right shall not be infringed. How many people believe that?
This rally followed marches promoting gun control in Nashville and other cities.
So many people are rallying and protesting against this, and there's not as many people that are for it.
You know, we fought a revolution to secure our liberty. We wrote the Constitution as a shield from tyranny.
Folks here say preventing mass shootings at schools and other places starts with a conversation away from guns.
I felt like that we need to be more responsible in responding to mental health. Mental health is a huge problem that we have.
And it's a stance they say they're willing to defend today.
So do we want them fooling around with our Second Amendment?
Shine or rain.
The least we could do is stand out in the rain for what we believe in.
Jason Lamb, News Channel 5.
Similar Second Amendment rallies were also held in other cities across the country today.
We are here not just for our guns, but to protect the rights of the Constitution, the rights of the people, the fabric of this country.
That was the hot topic at the Americans for America rally at the state capitol on Saturday. Navy veteran Roger Mitchell was one of many gun advocates rallying with concerns.
We live in a society that we have these constitutional rights for a reason, to protect ourselves. We have the freedom of speech. You take one amendment or right away, and the rest will follow like dominoes.
For Laura Munez, having a gun gives her a sense of security.
It's nice to know that I'm protected should something happen. You know, it's like saying, why do you have a fire extinguisher in your house? Just call the fire department. You have it there to protect yourself before the fire department can get there. Well, it's the same thing with a gun. Protect myself before the police can get there.
But the proposed gun violence legislation could change a few things for people like Munez. That's why event organizer Bobby Lawrence hopes that having rallies like this will open the eyes of those who think all pro-gun supporters are against them.
The things that they're proposing, we feel, do not make sense. The animus behind it, or the push behind it, is to protect their students, protect their schools. No one in this crowd wants to unprotect our schools. No one in this crowd wants unsafe schools. We do want personal freedom, individual liberty protected.
If you don't have the freedom to protect yourself, you're going to lose everything.
This is our building. They built this building and they pay their paychecks with public money that they take from us. And we want to be heard.
In Harrisburg, Josie Carbonari, Fox 4.
My name is Susan Jansen. I'm 61 years old, and I'm here to support our Constitution, our President, and our Second Amendment. I think it's really great. I think there should be thousands of people, though, not hundreds, because I don't understand why people don't understand how their freedom and liberties are being taken away on a daily basis, not by our current president, but by all the evil libtards and supposed Democrats in this government who want to take away people's freedom and liberty. Why would anybody choose to vote for less freedom and liberty? That's what I always tell my students, and I don't understand it.
My name's Melissa, I'm 42, and I'm here because I support gun rights. As a mother, I want to protect my kids, and I do that by concealed carry. And how else are you going to protect yourself with a bad guy with a gun? A good guy with a gun.
How old are your children?
14 and 8. And they both, we raised them around guns. And I was raised around guns, and my entire family's raised around guns. And they respect the guns. They don't, the way that we've raised them, they don't look at them as something scary. I mean, they know what they do, they know the purpose, they know how to handle them, but they also know that they're not going to go, I don't know how to explain it why, but they just know they're not going to go looking for guns. So that's why it just really baffles me how these kids getting guns, how come their parents aren't teaching them, that these aren't toys? I mean, these will kill people.
My name is Greg Ross. I'm 28 years old, and I'm here to join everybody else here on this rally in support of our Second Amendment rights. So all these gun control laws are really doing is they're basically causing people to be unable to defend themselves, putting people in fear and doubt that when they possess a gun that they're going to become under legal scrutiny just for doing so.
About a couple hundred people here at the lawn at Halifax Mall, many of them wearing NRA apparel, waving signs, and showing their support for the Second Amendment. Now, throughout the afternoon, speakers taking to the stage to explain their thoughts on proposed gun rights regulations. Amongst the youngest speakers, a call for their fellow students to get more involved in the political process. We spoke with Connor Gross, a senior at West Forsyth High School up in Clements. He was the first to take the microphone this afternoon.
I see a lot of what's going on in our country today. I see that those who believe in the way that gun control is the solution to this problem are getting a lot of attention, and I think that our voice needs to be heard as well.
In response to that gun control discussion, many speakers calling for more expansive mental health and increased security at schools. Now, attendees were very encouraged by this afternoon's turnout. Coming up at 10 and 11, they share their thoughts on school safety. Live in Raleigh, I'm Michael Perchik, ABC 11 Eyewitness News.
Happening in Montana right now, a pro-gun rally brought together dozens of people in the Magic City. The rally takes place just 2 weeks after the March for Lives event. Color 8's Mary Jane Velieza spoke to several organizers at the rally and has more for tonight.
Gun advocates gathered in the James F. Batten courtyard as various guest speakers ranging from high school students to gun owners made their voices heard in an effort to secure their firearm rights. Those in attendance today at the pro-gun rally tell me it's all about educating the public on the Second Amendment and protecting their rights. Terry Hintz says taking a stand today is important to show justice to the Second Amendment.
What we have to do is we have to come together and bring people together and understand that guns save more lives than take lives. And I think, and not only that, but it's to provide yourself with the ability to protect yourself in whatever situation may be. It's also, I mean, you got to take into consideration the sporting aspect, the hunting stuff. They always like to say, well, you don't need this for hunting. Well, it's not about needs. It's about rights. You know.
Krista Myers came to the pro-gun rally with her husband and tells me guns don't kill people, people kill people, and with whatever weapon they have, regardless if it's a gun or not.
So you're taking it away from the law-abiding citizens and the people who use them right and are responsible, respectful gun owners, and you're supplying the criminals. You know, if someone wants to hurt someone, they're going to find out a way to hurt someone.
Mitchell Miller says his gun is the best form of protection, and taking that away will do more harm than good.
They need to realize that if they take the Second Amendment away from them or try to take our guns, we're not going to have any way to help each other or help ourselves and our families.
In Billings, Mary Jane Velieza, Montana, right now.
During the March for Our Lives movement, many pro-gun protesters also took to the streets. This march was
Now, this was one of many rallies held across the country, and supporters were also encouraged to bring unloaded firearms, but only in the states where it was legal. Take a look.
I think it's important that the American people retain the right to self-defense.
The rain didn't stop more than 36 gun advocates from trekking to the state capitol to defend the Second Amendment.
I say look around the crowd. You know, what I saw out here, I saw people openly carrying firearms. And I think that this is probably the safest place to be in the entire state. And I think it's safer than most school campuses, safer than most workplaces. So I think it's actually firearms that make us safe.
The National Constitutional Coalition of Patriotic Americans hosted the pro-gun rally. It comes weeks after several gun violence marches and rallies were held across the country in the wake of a Florida school shooting back in February that left 17 people dead.
When you make a gun-free zone such as schools are, you are opening up, as a military member, that is a soft zone. That is an easy target. We don't do that to banks. We have guards. We have politicians have guards. Even our celebrities have guards. Guards at school would stop those shootings.
Organizers say while some folks may disagree with the NCCPA, they believe stricter gun laws will not eliminate violence.
We have so much on the books right now for gun control that if they were actually enforced, a lot of the stuff would not happen. But a lot of places are finding loopholes to get through it. Everybody wants to blame this or that. It's just like blaming a gun for shooting somebody. it's not the gun's fault. That's about as smart as blaming a shovel for not digging the ditch. It is a tool. It is just a piece of metal that without a human being is nothing more than a paperweight.
The Capitol Rotunda filled with people this Saturday afternoon, but not with state lawmakers.
A pro-Second Amendment rally took place. People who wanted to speak could come up to the microphone and talk, similar to a town hall meeting. Several of the people there say their reason for being there is protection.
It ain't just about hunting. It ain't just about, it's about protecting the nation, protecting our rights, protecting our family.
Many of the people who came to the event said they found it through Facebook. Lots of people there held signs such as "Make America Great Again" and "Don't Tread on Me."
I don't think that this is a left or right issue. I'm very frustrated. I just moved here to Maryland a year ago. In Virginia, I have a license to carry concealed weapons permit, which of course you have to do a background check in order to pass. So I could always carry my .380, which is a very small pistol with only 5 rounds in it. It's, there's nothing you can do except for defend yourself in close quarters in case there's a very imminent danger. But I can't do that in Maryland. Not only can I not do that in Maryland, but as my sign says, like minorities and women who might be oppressed by somebody who's stronger or a group of racist individuals, like they don't have that ability, and they have to call the police. And as the saying goes, when seconds count, the police are only minutes away.
I think it went very well. We have a lot of enthusiasm here. I hope that our legislators will hear. And I hope that those who don't understand the Constitution will take a few moments to gain some understanding, to understand exactly how important this is and how fundamental it is to this experiment we all call America.
And the rocket's red glare and the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does this star-spangled banner still wave over the land of the free?
This rally and dozens like it across the country come less than 3 weeks after thousands of people marched demanding tougher gun laws. But this crowd was getting out to say no, to not take away their freedom.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It started by honoring the flag and remembering everyone killed by violence. They want it to stop, but not at the expense of the Second Amendment.
We don't want change. We like things the way they are. So if you're a law-abiding citizen and you pass a background check, which there is, no matter where you buy a gun.
We feel that the Second Amendment, once that's gone, then there goes the free speech next.
The rally, headed by the National Constitutional Coalition of Patriotic Americans, encouraging Hoosiers and others around the country to not only show up, but come with unloaded rifles.
This thing is the thing that is being aimed at, it's being targeted.
Some, like survivors of the Florida school shooting, want guns like these banned for good. The crowd doesn't think that's the answer.
Going forward and banning an entire class of weapons, quote-unquote assault weapons, is kind of a step too far.
They say they want the same things as their opposition.
We want to keep schools safe. We want to make sure crazy people don't get guns.
But need Second Amendment supporters to be more involved and possibly help spark a meaningful conversation to addressing safety.
I think it has to do with the quiet gun owner, right? They don't want to make a big stink about it. They don't want to let people know they have guns.
Go out there and say what you believe. And if more people did that, maybe we could start a report, actually start having conversations.
Now, just as this rally was held outside the Indiana State House, similar events took place at Capitol buildings at 44 other states across the country. In the newsroom, Randy Spieth, Fox 59 News.
You were in downtown Boise this afternoon. You probably saw this on the steps of the State House. Representative Christy Zito says it was a pro-Second Amendment rally organized in response to the school walkouts that were held across the country and here in Idaho following the deadly shooting at a Florida high school.
So many of our kids that age don't really understand the true meaning of the Second Amendment. You know, they've been taught that guns are dangerous, that, it's all the fault of the firearm, when it's really not. It's an inanimate object, and they don't understand the significance of the Second Amendment and why it was written into our Bill of Rights.
Well, the rally lasted more than an hour and a half, and we're told about 300 people attended.